What's up, guys? We're back for another Mythic Legions review, but we're not looking at an Advent of Decay figure today. This time we have got something even newer. So at the recent New Jersey Toy Con, 2 figures were released in a very limited early fashion. So we have got Lord Veteris here, or Veteris. I'm not really sure how to pronounce his name, honestly. This is one of the 2 figures that saw early release at New Jersey Toy Con, and I was able to get my hands on him. I was not there. I do not have the other one. So we've got him here in standard Mythic Legions packaging. It's that same stuff we've seen through and through. You can see him there in the window. He does, of course, have a bio, and the backer card does not have any new artwork. This is the same stuff that we saw in Advent of Decay. So let's do it. Let's pull this guy out and take a look. All right, guys, here he is out of the packaging, Lord Veteris. That's the pronunciation I'm going with. I just think it sounds a little cleaner on the tongue. So we've got him here, and this is, like I said, one of 2 early limited release figures from the upcoming Soul Spiller wave. I was not able to get the Fury Clan Orc, but I was really, really happy to be able to get this guy for basically what they were selling him for at the convention. So I'm not, paying through the nose to get a figure that I'm going to get in a few months anyway. I just couldn't resist when I was able to jump on one early. This figure is very cool looking figure as far as I'm concerned. I really, really like the pauldrons in use here. I really like the head sculpt. I've said many times that this helmet really does it for me, and that was the main driving factor for why I just couldn't control myself to get him early. So we're going to take a look at articulation first, as usual, see how he moves around. I'm sure there are no surprises here, but let's run through it real quick. So the head is on a ball, swivel side to side. You can go all the way around. He's got a lot of motion here, and nothing really gets in the way. The pauldrons really don't impede anywhere. He does kind of hit them, but not bad. You can, of course, move the pauldrons to allow the arms to go out. And just, like always when I do these, I put the cape on him so the pauldrons go on, just because I feel like that's part of the look. It's not really an accessory. You can swivel side to side. We've got elbow rotation, and then we've got a single hinge, so about 90. We have got rotation at the gauntlet. We've got rotation at the wrist, and of course a hinge. He has a ball peg in the waist area. It's a solid buck, so there's no articulation at the diaphragm or anything. You go back, forward, bobble side to side, swivel around. Legs can go out, they kick forward, they kick back. We've got a thigh cut, single jointed knee, and rotation. And then, of course, we have rotation, rocker, and hinge down there at those ankles. So he has, everything we would expect. And one thing that's kind of weird is that this figure, he's not part of Advent of Decay, so he's newer. No joints on this figure are tight at all. They aren't loose, but they aren't tight either, which is really nice, having gone through so many figures that have been really, really stiff so far. I'm not sure if something's changed. It's just, kind of a thing that I've noticed. They were very easy to move, not overly loose, not overly tight, just kind of how you want to see them. Now, as far as the overall look and feel of this guy, I really am quite happy with this. It is, again, one of the main reasons why I wanted to get this guy when I had the chance. Not just because I'm impulsive and have little self-control. I just really think he looks cool. And it is a figure that is overwhelmingly parts reuse, if not 100% parts reuse. I don't see anything that looks new, and I'm really not sure that that should be expected here in this particular line. We've got the chest piece that we see on Keltis. We've got these same pauldrons on Gonks. These wrist guards are used over and over and over again. The waist and the boots are the same that Calavius uses from recent figures. So, it's a lot of the same stuff. We've seen this head sculpt a million times. I've got a number of figures that have that, and I like it, so I'm not too upset about that. But in general, I think he just looks fantastic. There is a nice color scheme going on here. Something about this copper color with the slight gold inlay and then the little purple accents, that kind of periwinkle almost. It's kind of what it is, kind of periwinkle color. That's really doing it for me. We've got a lot of little accents, all the belt buckles, all the clasps, all the little rivets are all sculpted and are individually painted, so they look fantastic. I just really, really like this color scheme. Of course, he does have a cape. We've got soft goods in use here, and this is one of those capes that has the 4 holes along the top, and what I do when I do these is I fold them in on themselves and then peg them into each pauldron. It seems to work pretty well, and so far I'm a lot happier with them now than I have been previously. I do like the color. It matches his armor pretty well. The only thing of note is that with this cape, the holes are noticeably smaller than some of the recent figures in Advent of Decay. Honestly, to a kind of the figure's benefit, because they fit around the pegs really snugly. It just worked a lot better. But overall, there's not a whole lot crazy to talk about here. I think he looks very imposing. I think he looks really nice. I have zero paint issues, and I'm just, pretty pleased with it. I just, for some reason, this color scheme really works for me, and I think this grouping of parts to make this particular suit of armor works exceptionally well. And then, of course, we do have the head sculpt here, which I've said time and again, I really, really like this helmet. I just like the design. I think it's sculpted really nicely. Again, with the same color scheme, the kind of black void inside, the open slits in the armor, in the face look really nice. And then we do have the horns on this guy. These are removable. You actually have to put them on once you pull them out. They are ribbed. They're kind of organic almost is what they seem. They don't really seem like part of a suit of armor. They seem like they've been taken off a creature almost and shoved into this helmet. So they're kind of ribbed, and there's a wash over them. So even these little things have paint detail on them, which is, part of the draw for this line, is that everything that can be painted is painted, and when it is painted, it's exceptionally well done. So another solid looking figure. Again, I'm really biased because I do dig this design just from the outset, but I think the color scheme really works to this figure's benefit. It just pops. There's really no other way to say it. Everything is metallic, and it just shines and looks fantastic. Now, as far as accessories goes, this guy has a pretty solid amount, but he has a few things missing that I honestly find kind of curious. And I'm not sure why. Maybe it's an oversight, maybe it's a mistake. At this point, I don't really care because I just got way too many of them already, but he doesn't come with any of the adapters that I've gotten with every other Advent of Decay figure. So that's kind of weird. It doesn't really bother me, but he doesn't have them in this box. We do have the strap, so we've got that, so we can put one of his swords or his dagger on his waist or over his shoulder or whatever you're going to do. But of course, he does have a different head sculpt, which I've already swapped out. This is a more traditional Knights type helmet, with a face mask. He's got the continuation of that purple and gold accents on the copper armor. You can see we've got a big coif of feathers up on the top here, and you can actually pop that guy out and you can put this on instead. It's just a little point. We've seen stuff like this throughout the line. Just another customizing kind of thing you can do to change him up a little bit and still continue that same color scheme through and through. But he does have a little difference here, outside of the fact that he's got this head sculpt, which you can use the horns on as well. This one has a removable faceplate, and it's got a fully sculpted, fully painted face in there, which honestly is pretty sweet. I believe this face has been seen before in this line. I do not have it. I want to say that this is like the Gideon Heavens brand face. Someone will likely correct me if I'm wrong. But what's really cool about this is that the eyes on this guy are painted metallic purple, which I find to be fantastic. Another little thing to bring the design of the figure into other parts of the figure that you may not have noticed otherwise. So I really dig that. Again, this is another one of those instances where you have a lot of customization with this guy, to the point where if, like me, I'm going to have a second one at some point, I can actually display him both ways, which I find really fun with this particular line. Beyond that, we do have a few weapons, and he doesn't have anything too crazy in terms of weaponry. He's really basic in that regard. Most of his more interesting accessories lie with the head, the face, that kind of stuff. So we've got this spear. We've seen this a number of times. A bunch of the Avian warriors, the Aetheron's dozen figures came with this. Just a gold spear. Nice and metallic, though. It's really, really gold. It's very, very shiny. We have got one of the standard daggers, which has done up in his entire color scheme. So we got gold, copper, and purple. And then in that same vein, we've got one of the standard swords, which has copper, gold, and purple paint accents all over it. So we've got a handful of things, and you can display him a number of ways. I really think he's more heavy on the extra head side of things, and he's kind of light on the unique accessories, but he still has a ton of stuff. So overall, I'm really, really satisfied with this, and I do think this guy got a little overshadowed in the early release because of the fact that he was paired up with a striking red orc, which honestly is hard to compete with. But this figure I'm really, really happy with. Again, I'm very much biased because I'm a fan of this design of armor, this head sculpt, the original horned head sculpt. I'm really, really fond of that. So when I saw this one, it was like, well, I just have to have him. I need this figure. Not to mention the fact that I think the color scheme is just awesome. It's really nice. It sparkles, it shines, it pops, whatever you want to describe it as, it does that. And not to mention the fact that he comes with a ton of stuff, and those metallic eyes on that second head sculpt are a very welcome surprise. Very, very cool little attention to detail there that I didn't know he had otherwise. So it's stuff like that that really makes me enjoy this line even more. So again, I think we've got a winner. So that's going to do it for this look at the Mythic Legion Soul Spiller Lord Veteris figure from the Four Horsemen. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And until next time.